Hello everybody, Charlie's Cards here. Today I bring to the table some newspapers and a couple articles and a video. They coincide with the retirement of Michael Jordan, which is really cool. I think probably the papers that I have might be more in demand for the Jordan fans than it is for what I'm after. And that's the 3 million brings in homer number 70. Yes, a couple days ago I talked about the Mark McGwire home run ball. Well, I did a little more research on it and found some crazy facts and things that happened back then. So, of course, if I want information, where do I go? Well, I go to YouTube. Of course I go to YouTube. So I got a video for us to watch. Hi everybody. Let's see if we can get this on here nice and pretty. You will not believe who bought all the Mark McGwire and Barry Bonds home run record balls. You will not believe it.
Hi, I'm Katie Couric. Welcome to Eye to Eye. Comic book creator Todd McFarlan has spent millions of dollars on a handful of baseballs, and he thinks they're worth every penny. His collection includes the ball Barry Bonds hit to break the single-season home run record. McFarlan gave CBS News a tour of his unprecedented collection.
When I knew I was going to go after the McGwire 70 ball, I wanted to tell a big story. So I go, the only way you can tell a story is at the beginning. So I bought the very first ball he hit that season. The one that will stand the longest is this one. For a major leaguer to break that, they have to hit 21 home runs in 30 days. You can't even do that at Little League or softball. When he broke the record at 62, Mark McGwire, the groundskeeper got it. Remember, he gave the ball back to him? Well, I started asking the questions, where are the balls that weren't given back to McGwire? Everything you see here, starting at 63 on, represents every ball that wasn't given to McGwire. If you look up the most home runs ever hit by a baseball player, Major League Baseball player in a season, number 1, Barry Bonds at 73. Number 2, Mark McGwire at 70. And number 3, Sammy Sosa at 66. This is 1, 2, and 3, the top 3 home run marks for a single season. Although I'll be chasing and stalking the career ball, to me the single season stuff is a lot more romantic because everybody's on the same playing field with the same amount of games, and nobody gets any advantage of having played 6
Note all the stuff in the background.
Ball went for $3 million, so that's the big boy. This
$3
one
million.
Ended up being with all the add-ons was about $500,000. So here's $3.5 million. You're looking at
$3.5 million
right here, and to be able to go, wow, everybody talks about that record, and when that happened, and to go, yeah, well, that's the ball that's there. So I was taught that if you're going to go and buy something, you're going to spend money, and you're going to get it, then you get the best. I used to have the best, Mark McGwire, 70 ball, but as soon as 73 was hit, this one becomes sort of an afterthought. This is the loser of the Super Bowl. Who lost Super Bowl 12? I don't know. I can tell you who the winner was.
Whoops,
so once this one became the big boy, I sort of was forced to get into another auction to say, got to keep it going.
And that's it. That's a video of Todd McFarlan. Todd McFarlan went on to purchase all these balls. Didn't know it then. This video it says it came out about 12 years ago. So that was after everything was said and done. Sorry about that. That was everything after said and done. Now we got another paper here. Going once, going twice, sold for $3 million. Well, I think I'll read the article, but because it's kind of a long article, but it's really cool. So, this is the auction house lady. She's auctioning off the ball. Todd McFarlane's representative is on the phone, and some other guy is bidding with him. There's the ball. It says Joanne Grant of the auction house called the bidding as in-house and phone bidders quickly escalated the price of the Mark McGwire 70th home run ball to $2.7 million plus an 11% commission. 11% commission. So let's go about this. It's just staggering to think that he spent $3 million on a baseball that several years later got broke. And then in 2005, when the steroid era hit, I can't imagine, we think about, we're worried about our little baseball cards going from $400 to $100 and be upset about that. Thinking about buying a ball for $3 million and find out that the guy's not going into the Hall of Fame, nor is baseball or even the collectible industry looking at the ball the same because of the steroid era. He's probably thrown away $3 million. The man wearing the camel-colored sports coat and designer tie was determined not to give up. In the end, Erwin Sternberg went even further than his sensibilities would allow before he graciously accepted defeat Tuesday night as the runner-up in the bid for Mark McGwire's 70th home run ball. The fast and furious paced auction at Madison Square Garden netted $2.7 million plus a $305,000 commission for McGwire's record-setting ball, making a rich man of Philip Ozerski, a 26-year-old research scientist from St. Louis. It's an extraordinary accomplishment to reach $3 million, said Arlen Eddington, president of the auction house. It's 23 times the world record for any baseball ever sold. 23 times. And 5 to 6 times the record of any sports artifact. Sammy Sosa's 66th and final home run of the season sold for $150,000. So that's what Todd McFarlan paid for that ball. Other home run balls from the 98 home run chase for sale were McGwire's 63rd, 67th, and 68th. I believe he bought all those. And Sosa's 61st. I don't know if he has that one. Hank Aaron, get this. Hank Aaron's career record 755th homer, his last, was withdrawn from sale after bidding reached only $800,000, apparently lower than the unannounced minimum. So he had a chance to buy Hank Aaron's 755th home run ball, and instead he paid $3 million for Mark McGwire's. Wow. A ball purported to be Mickey Mantle's 500th homer was also withdrawn because of authenticity questions. Sternberg, seated among a packed house, lost out to an anonymous phone bidder, Todd McFarlan, but it wasn't for lack of trying. We had hoped to get this ball as an inspiration for the people of this nation, said Sternberg, president of Stonehenge Limited, a company that manufactures men's neckwear. His cause was the Jimmy V Foundation for Cancer Research, named for Jimmy Valvano, the former North Carolina State men's basketball coach who died of cancer. Interesting. So the guy who lost it was actually kind of doing a good deed or looking at supporting a foundation. And wow. And fortunately, he didn't get it because the foundation would have been devastated by that. Sternberg wanted to use the 70th home run ball to generate more funds for the charity. It would have lasted a little while. The wonderful thing about this is that Mark McGwire had become such a symbol to this country, he said. We wanted this ball to become something that kids could look at and say, never give up. Never give up. The bidding started at $500,000 and spiraled fast. boiling down to Sternberg's last bid of $2.6 million before the anonymous phone bid. That's a substantial amount of money, said Ozerski, an avid fantasy baseball player whose fantasy came true. Ozerski has been sitting on pins and needles since he caught the record-setting ball in the Cardinals season finale. Now he's sitting on a fortune. In between having my regular job, I've also had the ball as a job, Ozerski said. Other than that, I've tried to keep my life the same. Ozerski, who was accompanied by his family, was among several other lucky ball catchers gathered at Mickey Mantle's restaurant in Manhattan for an afternoon luncheon before the big event conducted by Gurney's Auction House. Early financial plans. Although he has yet to start his family, Ozerski was looking ahead. I'm planning to make sure my kids have a college fund, he said. I won't have to live up to the 90s stereotype of both parents having to work. Ozerski earns about $30,000 a year. It's a good job, but it's not a major league contract, he said. The auction, however, brought him major league money. Ozerski said he always wanted to meet McGwire, but hasn't to this date. After he caught the ball, it never dawned on him to give the ball back to McGwire, as several fans before him had done during the St. Louis Cardinals sluggers home run record race with the Chicago Cubs' Sosa. I had never caught a home run ball before, and here was my first. My instincts were to show the ball to my friends and family. He took the ball around town for a few days and slept with it next to his bed. I was pretty naive at first. People were telling me how crazy I was for carrying it around. Ozerski eventually sought advice from a cousin, and together they brokered a deal with agent Michael Barnes of Creative Properties Management Group in St. Louis. Barnes' firm also represents several other clients who caught balls from the record chase who were also auctioned Tuesday night, including Albert Chapa of Houston, who caught Sosa's 66th and final homer in the Astrodome, which is cool. No one knew that what these things were worth. So we decided, let's all work together, Barnes said. That way we could set the market. Ozerski now fully understands the significance of his big catch. Here I am, just an ordinary baseball fan, and all of a sudden I catch a piece of history, he said. I just went with my friends to see a game and drink some beer. All right. It's pretty amazing to me. It's been the most exciting time of my life. The ball will be the subject of a book by that name being written by Daniel Posner, who has been following Ozerski around. What's striking to me is how many people will make a living on the back of this one baseball. The auction house, the legal representatives, not to mention the people who caught the balls themselves, Posner said. Earlier records tiny. A previous record price for baseball was the $93,000 that actor Charlie Sheen paid for the Mookie Wilson ball that went through Bill Buckner's legs in the 1986 World Series. That was eclipsed a few weeks ago when the first home run ball Babe Ruth hit at Yankee Stadium went for $126,000. McGwire's ball smashed the sales record as dramatically as his 70th home run smashed the previous record of 61 home runs by Roger Maris in 61. Nobody is looking to buy this ball to put on their fireplace and look at it. Well, yeah, that's what McFarlan did. And I asked you to note what was behind him. If you want to go back and look, he's probably got a lot of... He is in charge of Spawn, and he was a comic book illustrator and all kinds of other things. He made a lot of money back then. And if you look at that showcase behind him, he's probably got one-offs. And a lot of that stuff in that cabinet is probably worth 10 times as much as that ball is now. So nobody is looking to buy this ball to put on their fireplace and look at it, Padner said. Everybody looking to buy the ball at this inflated level is looking to exploit it. I wouldn't be surprised to see it wind up in corporate hands. It's a serious commodity. Well, we found out where it ended up. Todd McFarlan. He is a passionate collector, and that's kind of neat. And this is also in the paper. So this is Wednesday, January 13th, 1999. So quite a few years. Actually, 1 year. It took 1 year to get all this going after Mark hit it. And the season ended. Obviously, the season ends in September. So it wasn't long. Well, I guess it didn't take very long at all. September, October, November, December, January. So it didn't take long, 3-4 months to get the auction house together, get all these balls together, and sell them all. So it looks like a lot of people got rich. And Todd McFarlane is stuck with all these balls. And I think that's crazy because in my opinion, I don't think any of those balls are worth what the balls that, I mean, that's crazy to think. What was the one? Babe Ruth hit at the first home run ball. Babe Ruth hit at Yankee Stadium went for $126,000. That's Babe Ruth. The first ball Babe Ruth hit, $126,000. There's no way I think anybody would give more than $20,000 or $30,000 for a ball like that. I would have to say that the only ball that might be worth money is the Barry Bonds, and that's if he makes it into the Hall of Fame eventually. I don't know that he will now or in the future. I don't know if it will go to the Veterans Committee and they'll finally vote him in. Who knows what will happen there? But it's I just thought it's interesting. Actually spurred my conversation when I watched a super collector with his Mark McGwire collection, and I remembered saving these newspapers, so I had to dig them out, and I started looking at them, and I just felt it was fun. And not only that, it's got all the Michael Jordan stuff on it. Unfortunately, I'm not a big Michael Jordan fan. Yeah, I did watch 1 through 10, and they were pretty amazing. So, well, I hope you enjoyed this. $3 million for a baseball, plus whatever he spent on the other one. So he spent, between the two balls, he spent $500,000 on the Barry Bonds. So he's probably spent $4 or $5 million on baseballs. Wow. So that's what happens when you're a collector and you're rich and you're a novice and you don't get advice. So that's why it's important as a community we stick together. We share the good experiences and we share the bad so that we can learn from each other. Obviously, we don't have $4 million to throw away. So that's just part of what I'm trying to create here is not only a lot of fun information and baseball cards, but also let's just look at, how the community and how some of the services that the community is wrapped up in is working for us. And there's a company that's working on our behalf. So get advice if you don't know. It's always good to ask questions. Be a learner. There's a lot of guys that have collected a lot of things for a lot of years on YouTube. So type in things that you're looking at, things that you're looking for, see what they're worth, know what's going on. That's the key. Know what's going on. Be informed. And I don't know, it doesn't look like Todd McFarlane had a representative. It looks like he was in a comic book dream. And so there he is. He's got $4 million worth of baseballs that I don't think are worth more than $20,000 or $30,000, if that. I mean, I guess it all depends on if any of them make the Hall of Fame, which obviously Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa will not. We'll have to see what Barry Bonds comes up with. So anyway, a little fun trivia. We got to see a couple pictures, cool pictures of Michael Jordan in the newspaper. So, and we got to talk about Todd McFarlan, who probably a lot of us are familiar with. And if you're not, look it up. He's the creator of Spawn. And I know he worked on one of my favorites, his Spider-Man. He did a lot of modeling. And he owns a couple different companies that do all that. And that's a big thing. Statues or whatever they call them. I don't know, but I'm not into all that. I was into comic books for a while. So anyway, it's Charlie's Cards. I hope that was informative. Stay informed. That's what this is all about. We don't want to see just the common man like me and you overpaying for stuff just because you got to have it. So be careful, especially in this market. That was obviously a market that was inflated by the hype surrounding it, and they did a good job. I mean, literally did a great job of hyping up the balls. And see, that's kind of where we're at now, is the market is going up, and a lot of hype is going on, and a lot of talk. And if you look at it, the stats of some of the players that have escalated, other than the Hall of Famers, is not a proven fact right now because none of them have played. So it's an interesting time. So I'm being real careful. Actually, I'm just kind of peeking around on eBay, but I've kind of stayed away from it. I haven't even gone to my local card store lately, which I need to get back to and go see my buddy over there at Sports Houston, Sport Connection Houston. Great guy named Harold that works over there. So anyway, this is Charlie's Cards. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it's informative. Stay focused. So give me a like or a comment, and please subscribe. I know you're watching, so it helps me out. It helps me keep going. When I get a like and subscribe, I'll comment back. And if you subscribe and you have a channel, I'll subscribe right back. So this is Charlie's Cards. Over and out.